When it comes to movies, no matter whether it's our favorite or least favorite genre, we all have a certain level of expectations. And some of those expectations are really, really high. We can't wait to see this film, and then those expectations can either be met or they can go all the way over here to the opposite end of the spectrum where they're smashed into a million pieces and powderized and then forced to be snorted by us. That's what you get for having expectations, you stupid son of a bitch. But then we could have no expectations for a film. And those expectations could be taken all the way up here, and we could be surprised and enthralled and captivated by this film that we didn't think could ever possibly be any good. And I'm here to talk about those films that I had no expectations for, or thought that they would be downright terrible, and they ended up being really, really surprisingly good. So I'll get to that. I'm John Rhythm with my 10 most surprising movies of the 2023 list with some honorable mentions. Let me know your most surprising movies in the comments, please. I also want to put a qualifier on here that this doesn't mean that these are my favorite films of the year. Now, some of these may end up being on my favorite movies of the year list. You will have to check that out sometime after Christmas, but I decide as December starts to wind down and as 2023 draws to a close to do this list. And basically, I've seen a whole lot of movies this year. A whole lot of movies. I'll tell you the exact number when I get to the aforementioned favorite or best and worst movies list. So, let's get into it now with the honorable mention. So, Sisu, not exactly sure how to pronounce that. Tremendous. Goddamn tremendous. Blood-soaked, violent, brutal. It was great. This was so goddamn great. And I saw the high praise for it, and I'm like, okay, the trailer looks kind of fun, but there's no way they can make a movie that fun. And they did. They made a whole lot of fun, and expectations rose. I mean, I had decent expectations for this, but this ended up being such a teetotal blast, blood-soaked and brutal and great. It defied every bit of physics and every bit of logic, but it was so goddamn fun. If you have not seen Sisu's SISU, please check it out. It's great. Renfield, Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult, and also Aquafina not annoying the piss out of me in a movie. That alone means that Renfield is up there. And also Jenna Cannell, who I've loved since The Bye Bye Man, and they were great in Terrifier, and really hope that she/they, I believe, proper pronouns, want to be respectful of those. She's been great. Great at what she does, and it was just fun. It was Nicolas Cage having a blast in this. And yeah, you could argue that maybe they should have spent a little less money on this because this ended up being kind of a flop. But Renfield really turned out to be such a blood-soaked comedic. It was tremendous time. It was so goddamn great. And then we get to Influencer. It was a Shudder original, and when I first saw it, I was like, okay, we're going to get somebody that's going to mess with a social media influencer, and it's all about how easy it is to take over someone's life. And it turned out to be a really, really well done, very horrifying, and very well-paced movie. It turned out to be a whole lot of fun with some good social commentary on social media and all that, so I encourage you guys to check that one out. Influencer is very good. Also, two very beautiful leading women. That's always a good thing. Brooklyn 4-5. Wasn't so sure how a one-location shoot was going to work for a horror movie, but the director, using his grandfather's, times during the war and everything to build upon this story, it was great. This was great. Very, very good. Great performances, great set pieces, great costume design. This was really good. And It's a Wonderful Knife. I had no expectations. I actually thought this was going to be beyond. I thought this was going to be terrible. And it ended up being a very surprisingly fun and actually somewhat, somewhat moving, silly horror movie. Had some good pacing to it. Had some good blood, soaks up. A lot of blood soaking going on during the honorable mentions. And I also got to see a sneak peek of this well before it came out on Shudder. Very good stuff. It's a Wonderful Knife. Very good. Now, the list proper. So, Resurrected. It's on Tubi. It's indie horror. It's mostly told on computer screens. Is the apocalypse actually coming? What is the price of resurrecting people? Could they actually, come back and, getting a second chance in life? Could there be a backlash? Well, you have to find out. And I thought that this is going to be cheesy and stupid. It is on Tubi, by the way. Tubi is an ad-based streaming service, but it's free. You get a bunch of perks like movies like this. Resurrected actually ended up turning out to be surprisingly absorbing and well done. It felt more like it was a setup for a future movie when you take the totality of it in. But as far as a build and as far as the payoff, or at least the build up to the payoff, I thought it was actually pretty good. So Resurrected gets a recommendation. The Artifice Girl. I heard about this one and heard about, how it's somewhat low budget, but the director, writer did a really, 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 really good job with this whole idea of AI and building upon it. And, can we trust AI? How much, faith can we put in AI? Can AI become self-aware? Can we get to where AI feels? And it had a lot of good commentary on it. And I really, really enjoyed The Artifice Girl. I had mild expectations for it, but I wanted to keep them kind of low. And from pretty much first 15 minutes, I was hooked. And very, very surprising, absorbing. I guarantee that if you check out The Artifice Girl, give it a chance. It's well performed. And even with the budgetary limitations, I'm not knocking, they made the most of this. It was good. Cocaine Bear. When I saw the trailer for this, I was like, okay, yes, all this in my face, but it's going to be terrible. There's no way Cocaine Bear could be any good. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, ho, ho, ho. A Pirate's Life for me, but there's a Cocaine Bear, and it's one of the last roles for Ray Liotta to see. I didn't know how else to rhyme that. Kerry Russell was in this, one of the few performances where Kerry Russell didn't annoy the piss out of me. I don't know why Kerry Russell annoys me. Oh, Dark Skies. That's right. Dark Skies. That movie annoyed me. That movie was stupid. Anyway, Cocaine Bear is fun because it involves a bear than just cocaine. It's based very, very loosely on a true story. And it's a bear than just cocaine. And sure, it could have maybe had a little bit more fun with its premise. But as far as something that I thought was going to be absolutely monumentally stupid and I was going to lose interest in, it held my interest and it was fun. It was very fun, and this was really good. Dumb Money. When I saw the trailer, I was like, yeah, no, Paul Damo and Shailene Woodley, after all that bullshit that got exposed about her, especially with Aaron Rodgers, if you know, you know. But also the human lemur king himself, Pete Davidson. He was in. A lot of people were in this. Seth Rogen was in this. This was good. This was very good. This was another one I got to see a sneak peek of, and I really, really enjoyed Dumb Money. It was a laugh, almost a laugh-a-minute movie with some good dark comedy, and also it told the whole GameStop stock story about as well as it could in about a breezy 100 minutes. And I had no I thought the movie looked dumb, ironically, given the title, but it turned out to be good. When Evil Lurks. And I talked about this on my favorite or my best horror movies list. Please check that out. When Evil Lurks is on Shudder. I got to see a sneak peek of, well, not a sneak peek, but a special screen of this. In the sense, it got a limited theatrical run, and I was the only person there because evidently I was the only person in Marysville that knew this movie existed. Marysville's the town where I live, by the way, just in case you didn't get that. When Evil Lurks was from Argentina, or is from Argentina, not was. It didn't get transplanted elsewhere. And it's from the director of Terrified, which I didn't care for, and I didn't have high expectations. I really didn't have any expectations, but I thought if this is anything like Terrified, I'm not going to like it. Holy shit, this movie was tremendous. One of the best films of the year. Bit of a spoiler for my best movies list, but yes, When Evil Lurks was fun. Very fun. Very fun. Oh, for points. There were points in this movie that made me say, holy shit. And audibly. Not like, jeez. A point where a guy is driving and sees somebody wandering, stumbling down a road, holding something. That will be seared into my memory. There is a scene where you need to be careful, You need to be careful and always watch your kids. That much I'll say. When Evil Lurks is tremendous. D&D, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Or Amongst Thieves. I think it's Among Thieves. I saw a sneak peek of this all the way back, I want to say in March? I think it was March. I did not think this was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be good at all. I thought it looked a little bit better than the 2000 version that had Jeremy Irons and a few others, but it didn't look good. And I was very surprised. This pretty much hooked me from about 15 or so minutes in. This was breezy and fun. Chris Pine made it work. Michelle Rodriguez didn't make me want to put my head through a wall. The casting was good. And it also turned out to be just a well done, well performed, surprisingly well told, story with a lot of deep, like ties to the characters. You don't have to be a D&D fan to enjoy this movie, and it turns out to be easily one of the most surprising movies of the year. I wish it had actually done better at the box office. I can understand why it didn't. I don't think they need to spend $150 million on the goddamn movie, especially given how much the one in 2000 flopped. But whatever. Hopefully they can actually make a sequel and they can be successful. This can find a big life on streaming because this actually is really, really good, and I didn't think I'd say that. Evil Dead Rise. And this one surprised me because I hated the 2013 one and thought, okay, there's no way that this could actually be any good. Or it might be okay, but I was getting more and more interested as I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, cool. They're putting it in a high-rise apartment, and let's see how good it is. And this is blood-soaked, and a lot of blood-soaking, again, going on here. This was very, very good, though. I really did enjoy Evil Dead Rise. Now, again, this is as far as surprise factor. I'm not saying Evil Dead Rise is better than some of the movies before they were mentioned on this list. But given what I thought of the 2013 one, I retro-reviewed every single Evil Dead movie and then watched this after watching Beau Was Afraid earlier in the day. So I was in the theater, 2 different cities for the better part of 5 goddamn hours. And Evil Dead Rise was very, very good. I absolutely 100% encourage you guys to check out. One of the best title reveals I've seen. And there's no escape. The only hope is the sweet relief of death. Yes, it's the Super Mario Brothers movie at number 3. I thought this was not going to be good. It was just going to be a vehicle to feature a bunch of characters and a bunch of sound effects and a load of nostalgia without much of a story. And you know what? It basically was that. But you know also what it was? It was a lot of fun. It was a breezy 85 to 90 minutes, and by no means a perfect movie. But my God, it was loaded with fun. It was so loaded with fun. So loaded with, man, it was like being on the Star Road course and just getting assaulted with colors and pretty things and everything. And it was great. Definitely made up for the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie, which I may need to find a copy of in retro-view at some point just to see how bad it actually is. Because I saw it in theaters when I was 12 and hated it. God bless my dad for taking me to see that. Super Mario Bros. Movie, though, number 3, absolutely tremendous. Number 2, Godzilla -1. Not being a fan of Godzilla. I don't hate Godzilla, just want to say that. But not being a super fan, and not really particularly enjoying the 1998, or the 2014, or Godzilla King of the Monsters, or Godzilla vs. Kong. I mean, I enjoyed parts of the 2014, the Godzilla King of the Monsters, and also Godzilla vs. Kong. But again, no big Godzilla fan. Haven't really paid attention to the series, the various series and spin-offs that they've done. Godzilla -1 exceeded my expectations. I thought the trailer looked okay, but I was like, all right, they're doing another Godzilla. They're going back to basics, but it'll be all right. It was more than all right. This movie was fucking tremendous. If you guys can see this in theaters, hopefully you are seeing this before Thursday the 14th. Hopefully the Japanese company extends its run in theaters at least through Christmas. 1, they're going to get more money because people want to see this. And 2, it's fucking tremendous and it needs to be witnessed on the big screen. Godzilla -1 is absolutely 100% great. But number 1, Barbie. If you told me that Barbie would have been not only a surprising movie to me, but also one of my favorite movies of the year, I would have laughed in your face, and then I would have felt like an idiot, because Greta Gerwig, who did Lady Bird and one of the many remakes of Little Women, got to do this, and not being a fan of Margot Robbie at all, quite frankly. She seems nice. She seems like an airhead as well. She just has never been my favorite actress. But she was great. She was cast perfectly. And oh god, Ken, he's not just Ken. Oh, Ryan Gosling was so great. He was so goddamn great. He stole the show. He stole the goddamn show. And the cast is fucking loaded. Check out the cast. This movie didn't even make me hate Will Ferrell. And I can't really stand Will Ferrell. But Barbie, most surprising movie of the year. Because I thought it was going to be a goddamn atrocity. And it was great. The music, the pacing, the sets, the well-worked stuff. Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie playing off each other really well. And the loaded cast is just great. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What's your most surprising movie of the year? What are your 5 most surprising movies? Anyway, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.